to come study in Canada. You can't just be a generalist. When Canada says they have labor shortage, go and look at the list of fields that they have shortage in. What prevents you from choosing a course on that list, so that, because you're coming here for a reason, right? You want to get the postgraduate work permit to work, and you want to stay here, so that at the end of the day, when you get to applying for your postgraduate work permit or applying for your permanent residence, it will not be an issue. You can't just say, oh, I studied English, for example. I'm just going to go there and study and choose and study English as postgraduate program, or, it's an easy course. Let me just be safe and just. Do you see English on the list of
shortage of
job shortage?
They tired. Do they even need English for what?
Thank you. So you need to be strategic. So I'll keep using this word. Be strategic. Okay? Again, they say they need healthcare, caregiver. You hear Canada has a declining, Canada has an aging population, right? Declining battery. You hear those terms. Oh, we need caregiver, we need health. They're not telling you to come and be a medical doctor. If you know that, some people like, oh my God, I never liked medicine. Are you telling me at my age to come and study medicine? No, that's not what I'm saying. If you go, there are about over 900 courses or programs. If you want to come and study, that is the list you should be looking at. Okay? If you go under the healthcare, you will see like different counseling, the different programs, not to even bore our audience here, caregiver, personal support worker. There are a lot of programs here that you can choose from, okay? Because Canada will always need healthcare workers. They will always need caregivers. We know for sure. So no matter how they go about with their immigration plan, there are just some key areas that will keep looking for people.
Somebody said here, I am a support worker with experience but no qualification under healthcare. Am I eligible for it?
So yes, although there's some work we'll have to do, we can discuss that offline. But yes, you are, when you say, am I eligible for it? I talked about two different things. I talked about the school route and I talked about the caregiver. Are you asking me about, are you eligible for the school route, or are you eligible to come here to work as a caregiver?
I assume that she's saying since she has experience. Now, like even here in the UK, a lot of people come in, is the care work that they open up and a lot of people rush in.
Yes.
And then a lot will now have to be, oh, you don't have UK experience. Would that be the same thing over there? In which they say, oh, the experience you have is not a UK experience, is from a foreign country. Would that also hinder someone?
Not necessarily. So here in Canada, if you are, especially in Ontario, if you want to work as a personal support worker, there are two ways, right? So I can do the home care, meaning that you go into a residential home, someone's home, to either cater for an elderly one, a senior, or to help them with their kids, okay, their young kids. There's another type where you go to work in a long-term care home, like a retirement home or seniors home. Those ones usually require you to have certifications, okay? The home care one, they're usually flexible in terms of certification. They don't really require that. It's not a must to have. But since COVID, because of what happened during COVID, it's now a must. If you're going to long-term or senior homes, you must have certifications to work in those kind of homes.
Now, for those who like, I know are people, somebody could say, oh, I want to come and work in be a home giver, and after they got the permit, after they got got into the country, then they jump ship. They said, I'm tired of this employer. I want to go to another employer. is that possible? Is that permitted?
Okay, so the caregiver program has really gone through so much revisions. So in those days, it used to be living caregiver, meaning you had to live in the employer's home. But because a lot of abuse, because of employers holding it against the employee, they then reverse it. So today, what we have, and the announcement that has been made this year by the immigration minister, we're still waiting for them to roll out how the program is going to roll out. For the caregiver, if you're coming in to work in a residential home, you're not going to be given an open work permit. Before, it used to be a closed work permit, meaning you are tied to that employer. But now they give you an open work permit, and that gives you the flexibility, to work in employer A's home or employer B's home. And if you find a long-term or a senior home who needs your services and willing to hire you, you can also work in that home as well. So you now have an open work permit and you have the flexibility to do that moving forward.
Now, imagine, because I've seen quite a lot of people that came in here into the UK and they wanted to come and, work or school and work, and they came in with 16, 17-year-old children, with 18-year-old children that is now at limbo. They don't know what because the child is supposed to be sitting for exam, is already above the age of, sitting for the national exam. Somebody's asking here, can someone look at an 18-year-old kid? And an 18-year-old kid is not a kid against an adult. Once the person is 18, so let me just take it from you. Please explain.
Can someone relocate with 18 years kids? Yes, you can. So relocation with which immigration pathway though? But yes, you can. For example, you come into school, you are demonstrating at the primary caregiver. So yeah, sure, you can come in with the 18-year-old child. You would have to submit a different application for that person too. So if you're coming to school, would have to submit. If you get it, then when you get your approved study permit, would also have to apply for a study permit for the child as well.
So it means, like we're saying, the person is an adult. It's not like when the child is under 18, in which you put the person is your dependent.
No, so in Canada it's 22 years.
Oh,
if the person is under 22, it used to be 18 those days, but now it's 22.
Oh, good. So if the person is under 22, the person can come in as your dependent, and you can see. But you need to apply the way you are applying your own. You need to apply for them also. So both of you need to get a permit to study, even if it's going to be under secondary school or the college that you're going to go into.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you know that in Nigeria, the person who is 18 years old has already finished school and is about to go to the university, how would the person fit into the educational system in Canada when they are coming from the...
Okay, so if we know that the person has already finished high school in Nigeria and the person is just coming here to attend university, then we'll push in the application. So we'll apply to the school, choose the program on behalf of that person, and then use the WIREC results to as part of the application. And then the school will offer an admission letter. We then use the admission letter to apply for a study permit at the immigration level. And then once that person gets that approved study permit, then the person can come into school.
So the challenge, and which we wanted to explain more about, like here in the UK, is that person is treated as an international student and we need to pay the fees of an international student, which majority of our parents who have come in with 3 children or some 4 children are not able to pay. And what now happens to that child?
Well, because that child cannot just sit at home, right, while you go to school. Right? So, I mean, there are ways. When I say there are ways, it's something that you have to factor in. you're coming in with a child. You know that as when you come in as a student, one of the benefits of coming as a student, you also get a work permit, right? Yes, you're not able to work full time as a student, but while you are in school, you can work up to, as of today's law, you can work up to 24 hours a week. So that will give you some cash, and then during summer holidays, you can work full time, like when the school is on holidays. I think the biggest hurdle will be to be able to convince the visa officer at the time of the initial study permit application that you have sufficient funds to cater for you and your kids.
And those children.
If you can jump that hurdle, then you can jump every other hurdle that will come after it, meaning how you pay when you get to Canada.
So if somebody comes
Now,
into Canada, go ahead. You about saying now if the school is
so that's why I said the school is one option, right? So when we do assessment for each client, these are kind of questions that come up during consultation session. The school route might not be a viable option for you based on your unique circumstance, right? So
school might not be the option, the option for that person to be able to do. So we've mentioned
like if the funds is a challenge, it won't be a viable option if the funds is a challenge.
But would they be able to come with the children into Canada if schooling is not the option?
There are other options. You want to go through express entry? You want to go into provincial nominee? Maybe caregiver can work, because with caregiver you can come with your family too.
Okay.
Right? Okay. But this time you're coming on a work permit, right? So, or do you want to go through entrepreneur or business stream? That one too, you can come with your family. So there are other routes. School is not the only route.
You mentioned earlier about the shortage occupation list, that if someone wants to school, they need to be strategic to go study. But like you rightly, like we discussed today, our people, we are concerned about studying either an engineer, either a doctor, either something. So that's like, how can I come all the way to Canada and come and study plumbing or study bricklaying, which is the Canadian government is saying there's shortage occupation in those courses. How can you convince people to do that?
I think people have to change their mentality and mindset. Plumbing in this country is not the same as plumbing from where we're coming from. They make a lot of money, okay? They charge per hour. Electrician is not just, they have a proper school and it's equivalent to a university degree. Like, it's rigorous. And then you go for certification, you go for training, you go for apprenticeship, before you get certified to work. And then as anybody calling you, you charge them minimum, okay, you want me to come on physics, I have to charge minimum 3 hours, even if it's going to take you 15 minutes to do that job, and you charge them per hour. So people need to change their mindset, looking down on tradespeople, because it's hard business here in Canada. When you say, oh, how can I, trades is not the only thing on the list, but if you're looking down, oh, how can I come and, you know what, do you want to get your papers or not? Come and start. If you want to do engineering, come do. If we look at all the immigration pathways and nothing works, do electrician falls under trades. If trades is a hot area now, fit into that. When you finish, go and do your electrical engineering. Go and do an engineering course. And again, that you chose a pathway to come into Canada. Say I came in here as under healthcare, as a caregiver. It doesn't mean that's what I'm going to do all my life. I'm coming as a caregiver, get my PR, and then transition. If I want to go into cybersecurity tomorrow, nothing stops me, right? that I use that as a pathway to get my PR does not mean I have to be stuck with that all my life. People change careers every day.
So you've told us about 3 ways now: express entry through either the federal skilled worker or Canadian experience class, or through the trades, or provincial nominee and school route. What other options are there?
Did I talk about caregiver? Okay, so I can talk about caregiver. I thought I talked about caregiver.
Yeah, you did about
So
caregiver.
caregiver-
There are 2 types of caregiver: the homegrown and the one in the
Okay,
care home.
so under under caregiver, basically you're coming to care for the elderly or seniors or a younger kids, right? And this year, a recent announcement was made talking about revisions they're going to do to the caregiver program. It used to be, for the past 5 years, it was a pilot program, meaning that a pilot program means that it's a program that was rolled by the government. The government just wanted to test run it to see how it works. And then at the end of that pilot, if it's something that they want to continue, they'll make it to a permanent stream. Caregiver has always been there, right from even before I came to Canada. They might have changed the name, changed how it will be offered, but caregiver is the caregiver.
It's always caregiver.
Right? It's always caregiver, and it's under one stream. But the big thing is getting a job offer. But the particular caregiver offer from a company, it has to be from a residential home. So a home that needs your services to come and care for parents, other parents or younger kids. So that's caregiver on its own. The other one is business investors. So there are people that have the funds, they want to come and either start a business, or you want to buy an existing business. You'll be given a work permit to come and do that, and then you can transition and become a permanent resident.
How much must it come those who are coming for business? Is there a financial threshold or a particular kind of?
It depends. So there is one that falls under the federal level. There's one on the provincial level. I'm hesitant to quote numbers here because it's always changing. But they always look at your finances, your net worth. If you say you're coming to operate a business in a particular province, for example, what kind of business is it? How much funds do you have to run that business? Because they know that when you come day one, it's not the day you come day one that it will start making money, right?
Well, interesting. So what other options are there? Because somebody can say that I don't have money to come and buy a business and start a business. Caregiver, I'm already 50 years old. Can I be classified of being able to do that? I might not have the strength, the rigor to be able to do the work, moving and handling and all those stuffs. And school, can I at 50 study masters? What options do I have when I finish with that? Would they consider my age? They might think that I'm too old compared to you who are 23, 24, and you are canvassing for the same role.
When you say 50 is too old, I don't know what to say about that, because in care homes, there are people that are older than that doing caregiver jobs.
Okay.
So if you say none of the streams that I've talked about can work, there's the agri-food pilots. There's a pilot under the agricultural stream. Again, there are a lot of occupations under the agricultural stream. And each of the province also carve out their own provincial nomination programs. You can say, you know what, based on certain job occupations, we would nominate you, right? So the 10 provinces in Canada, each of them would cover their own provincial nominee programs.
So you mentioned earlier that if somebody wants to come into, even if it's a care one, you must get an employment. Correct. So
yes.
How can one get that employment? Is it, when the person is not in Canada, how would they, all those kind of, which is a critical condition for them to be able to get the visa?
Yeah. Yeah, so for that particular caregiver program that I explained, the job offer has to be residential. Okay, so that meaning it has come from a residential home, and there are job sites that they can actually apply. And again, you would have to boost your profile. For example, if you as a caregiver to take care of seniors, again, you want to position. I know that a lot of us, we have generic resumes. You want to tailor your resume for that particular position that you're applying for. So people have connections here in Canada, friends, family, friends. So you can leverage their own network, to help you look for such job. But again, there are job sites that are always looking for people under caregiver routes. Now, yeah, so that's that particular caregiver. Now, if you're already in Canada, that's a different story. You don't necessarily have to go through that route. Yes, you can still work as a caregiver, but then you opened up to either residential home or whatever. There are job sites, there are agencies that can help for both parties.
Is it possible for someone to travel to Canada and then, as a visitor, and change to work and say, okay, I came in as a visitor, but now I'm happy with what I've seen. I want to remain here. I don't want to go back to my country. Are those things possible? Is it possible to do that, to now get a job? So
what you just explained used to be very rampant years ago. This year they've changed a lot of things. But yes, you come in here as a visitor, and then again, you have to have a strong reason why you're coming here as a visitor. You just come here as a tourist, or are you coming here for a conference? So whatever the reason is, you can come in here. If you then get, for you to say you want to stay, you then need a particular reason. So if you get a job, that is good. The other question is your employer, your new employer, willing to help you in this application? Meaning they would have to file an application called an LMI, a labor market impact assessment. That application is saying basically they couldn't find any Canadian to do that job, and that is why they are hiring you to do that job. That application is not submitted to immigration, it's submitted to Employment Service Canada. If you get a positive response, then you apply to immigration to get a work permit, and then you can come and work. So you can stay in Canada and work.
So the order.
Now,
go ahead.
So that used to be a lot of trend. Couple of years, especially after COVID, a lot of people say, I'm coming to visit. And then when they come here, they will start looking for, a lot of people contacted our office. I need a job. I don't want to go back. I came on visa. It's not just as easy peasy as I just explained, okay? And with the change of law that we've seen this year, moving forward, you can't just come in and apply for that LMI application. You would have to you find the job, you have to be outside Canada to push in that LMI application, okay? So you have to really be strategic, okay? There are some employers that you will see that they always bring in people, especially if you're in the IT sector, okay? So, and you have those extra skills, coding skills. There's some employers that will be willing to go the extra mile for you to push in that application. But if you're just like an admin assistant, and you're looking for someone to do LM, it won't fly. You won't find. Okay, because you have enough people that can fill that spot here in Canada. We don't need an LMI. We don't need to go hire outside.
So except you have,
for that position.
You must have a niche skill that is not available in Canada. And you gave an example of coding for example, IT skill that you mentioned. Somebody's asking a question. Please, in a Greek food pilot, do I need any certificate to get this job? And can one apply for a job under a Greek food pilot? Thanks.
So outside, like I explained before, yes, you can apply. You can apply from the website. You don't need certifications. You need to show work experience. You need to show education, and then you apply. Okay. Now, how easy is it to get a job? That's another topic for another day. Now, I'm trying to see the best way to say this thing. I don't know. A lot of people are just been, oh, work. I need work. What if you don't find so what's your plan B? What if you don't get that job? Why not come into a program that you hear, you can see? I'm just giving an example. If you see, whatever you want to do, you just have a plan B. Just in case the work that you are pursuing doesn't work.
It doesn't work out.
That is correct. It doesn't work out.
If the work does not work, if the work does not work,
if the work doesn't work out, what is your plan B? If you don't find a job, if you don't get a job offer, if you don't get an employer that can do LMI for you, what's your plan B? Okay, what's your plan B? Yeah.
Somebody is saying, is cybersecurity analyst in high demand? I think that you just mean cybersecurity analyst.
Yes, cybersecurity is in high demand. Yes, I know that for sure. So, if your question is, is it on the list of shortage? Is cybersecurity something I can come here and pursue? And when I finish, as a pursue at the school level, and when I finish, I would get a postgraduate work permit, and I will also get, I'll be able to easily transition to as a permanent resident, then yes, okay? Now, some people will say, oh my God, school is so expensive. Yes and no. You need to think out of the box, okay? Not all programs are quoted at the same level. Like if, for example, you want to come here to do an MBA, someone coming here to do an MBA compared to someone that is coming here to do a 1-year program in a province that is not as populated as Ontario. Everybody wants to be in Toronto, everybody wants to be in Ontario, but there are other provinces. Some people say, oh, but my friend is in Ontario. Yes. Do you want to get your PR? Why don't you go to a province that have flexible programs? It's easier for you to get your permanent residence compared to if you decide to stay in the bigger cities, in the bigger provinces. It's like saying you want to go to, you must stay in Lagos. Yes, everybody wants to be in Lagos, but there are still other places where people are, it's not as expensive as Lagos, and they're living well. Okay? You can still come back to Ontario when you get your permanent residence or Canada, but your first step, go somewhere that they have easier routes, easier provision nominee programs to get your permanent residence. And then when you get that, you can come back to Ontario if it's Ontario you really want to stay. Okay.
Now,
so there are cheaper cities, there are cheaper provinces. There are there's personal support attendant in one of the provinces, for example. It's not I don't want to use the word not too expensive, because I don't want to say every like as an international student is expensive, especially when you start doing the conversion rate. But what I'm trying to say is it's not as expensive like if you had done that same program in a big province like Ontario.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I think it's been a great one. We should be rounding up because, interesting, we have already spent 1 hour, just as if we have not even started at all. But there's but there's some questions, and I think you've really helped us tonight. There's some questions I needed to ask. Now, based on what you said now, in the UK, there could be some people that say that no, the kind of school you go to must be determined by the government. Is any because you're saying that one can go to a cheaper school, maybe in another province. Is there any government equivalence to the kind of school I can go to and the kind of courses I can do?
The only thing I would say regarding that is when you come into school in Canada, just make sure that the school you're choosing is a designated learning institution. And there's a list of all the schools that are designated. They call it DLI schools. There's a list of them, right? So just make sure it's on that because it's only DLI schools that would enable you to get your postgraduate work permit. If you go to a non-DLI school, you won't be able to. So those are the recognized schools recognized by the government.
So it means you can help them if people want to. You can help them certify that those schools are on the list.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Then again, somebody could say, I'm already a UK citizen. I have my ILR in UK, but I want to relocate to Canada. What options are there? And I know I just wanted to make it very clear because I've had some friends who have relocated. So how can you support and help them?
Oh, how I can support? So first of all, the first step is to we say you fill up a profile, right? Once you fill up that profile, we are able to take a look, submit your resume, and then we'll book a consultation session, and that's where you have an opportunity to speak with an immigration consultant, and then plan the strategy for you to come here. Into Canada. So we'll look at the various options. If you say, funds is an issue, I can't come into school. Well, there are options that we can see is, can school still be a viable option for you? Another thing for that school route that I want to also mention is you know that you can also have a sponsor someone that can act as a sponsor for your education here in Canada. And there are also organizations that are willing to give you loans to come here to school. So you don't have to think that, oh my God, everything would have to come out from my pocket. So I'm just going to eliminate school. So anyway, back to your question.
Before you go, I'll take you on that. What would you? What?
No, because I know. No. Maybe we should have a part 2 because it looks like every statement I make,
it's a lot of questions. Okay. Now everyone on this call, there will be a part 2 because a lot of things we're not able to unpack, and we cannot. Sure. Already we have spent more than 1 hour. We knew that it will not be enough, but continue on your line of thought. There will definitely be a part 2 of this.
Yeah. So we look at all the options, and then we then decide the routes we should take, and then we'll start, we'll send a retainer, meaning you're going to a retainer agreement to you, meaning that you're retaining our services, you read through it, and then we then start the application. You provide us documents, we'll represent you, we'll act on your behalf in front of immigration, prepare your application and do your submission letter, and then let you know of any correspondence from immigration. Yeah. Okay. So
2 more
be
questions.
Your guidance from start to finish.
So 2 more questions. No, somebody is asking that question. No, don't add to my question. I just have to.
The list will just keep growing. We should have a part 2.
We have it now. Okay, let's just do this 3 more questions and no more questions. We'll just 3 more and we'll no more. Is it also advisable to enroll?
You said 2 more before, now 3 more.
No, because of this person. No, I have one. I have one.
Okay.
This person, I was looking at Leke Peculiar, had one before this Abidoye now added one to it. Is it advisable to enroll into vocational school or trade schools with a year program? Can I be able to come to Canada with my family? Also, after my program, can I still get a PR? That's enrolling to a vocational school.
So trade schools. He's talking about trade schools. So yes. Again, face value, if I just read your question, the answer is yes. But again, let's talk, okay? But yes, you're able to enroll into a trade school. The only thing I will say is you want to be able to convince the visa officer that you're going to be a genuine student. Meaning,
you want to be on that trade. Really you want to do that trade. If it's electrician, you want to learn it.
Yeah. Yes. So your application has to be strong. Okay.
As a medical doctor in the UK, how do I transit to Canada easily? The same thing you answered earlier. You answered it earlier about the fact that is the person should get involved with you, then you sign a retainership, then you look at how to support the person. Since the person already a doctor, earlier you have answered under the express entry, there is a federal skilled worker. The person already is skilled worker.
That's a provincial nomination.
Aha. Yeah. So it's possible. So if you Abidoye, if you need the service, just get in touch with her. She'll be able to support you. We have people who are medical doctors in the UK and have moved even to Canada. Yes. So it's possible. So my own question, we're going to have a part 2 of this, like everyone here can see. People feedback were saying Chioma Chinoni says, well done, sir and ma'am. Ihoman Doku says, very informative. Sheyi Shayo says, well done, sir and ma'am. So it means people found value for this, and it means that we're going to have part 2 of it. My last question before we wrap this up is, now, somebody might be beginning to say, I just moved into the UK about 2 years ago, and I've spent millions. So what am I supposed to be looking at? What kind of thing income expenditure am I supposed to be looking at? Is that an answer?
Income expectation?
No, not the income. No, not, sorry, apologies, not income. Expenditure on this journey. I want to move from the UK. I want to move to Canada.
Okay. So expenditure wise, it depends. It depends on the program. If you come of all the programs I've mentioned, the most expensive one is the investor one. Right?
Investor one, okay.
And the investor one, and followed by the school one, right? The school route, coming into school. Now, if you come in, let's say you get a provincial nomination, or you were picked under express entry, you got an invitation to apply for permanent residency. If you're talking about for the express entry, for example, there's something I missed called proof of funds. So the government realized that it's not day one when you land here. I mean, they will love you to get a job immediately, but what if you don't get a job immediately? So they did like a calculation system. The amount of funds you should have in your account that will cater for you and your family for a certain period of time before you are able to get a job and start supporting yourself. I mean, when you get here, you get a house. You would have to get accommodation. You will have to put your kids in school. If you have kids, you would have to be moving around. You have to feed yourself, right? We don't have control on that amount. There's a chart, so it depends on your family size. If your family size is 1 million, it's just you and yourself that are coming, the amount that will be required for you to show proof of funds is different for someone that family size is 4. Okay? So this is just proof of funds that you need to show in your bank accounts. I'm just using express entry as an example. Now, when it comes to application fees, government fees, and you need to do biometrics that's another fee. Of course, you need to do your IELTS, right? IELTS is between 300, 350 or separate. Biometrics is about $85 if you're just a single person. Application fees, again, now this fees I'm quoting, it can change. So I'm always reluctant to quote fees because we might wake
everything
up
tomorrow morning and you can just change it.
And then you say, oh, but Lilia told me it's this amount. Now, So immigration program differs, right? And our processing fee differs as per application because of the amount of work that goes into each of these applications. And application fee, even our own fees, our own consulting fees, for a single applicant will be different from a family size of 4, because family size of 4 we have to do for the husband,
Each person, and the time hours,
right? So, I don't know if I answered your question,
but
but that's how
you did. It's just to make anyone who is thinking whatever route they're looking at is to begin to look at and look at and look at the like the you see, I don't know why my head in my place they said the person who that wants to hit the honey inside the rock or the mountain will not be looking at the mouth of the axe that is using to look at that. Just for the person to begin to think about the if you are single, if you are married, the more you go up, if you have one child, if you have 2 children, if you have 3 children, if you have 4 children, so the magnitude of the expenditure also begin to rise, because these are various complexities, and that's why one cannot have a one balance, one answer fits all. So thank you so much for
one more thing. I'm so sorry. One more thing I want to add. Now, if you've got a previous refusal, if you've applied on your own before, I got a previous refusal, and you're coming to us, it's a different fee, because now it's more work.
It's more, because you need to now do a lot of.
Exactly. Now, that is why it is important, that consultation session. That consultation session is an opportunity to discuss with your immigration consultant your intention, your goal, and then we look at your documents. At that meeting, you will be told, it will tell you all the programs that would work for you. If you then decide, I want to go with option A, then we'll tell you the breakdown of all the fees, okay? You will then be prepared. Is this a journey I want to take, or you know what, I want to stop at this bus stop, okay? But that consultation is a 1-hour session, and it's paid. It's not free, okay? So you would know at that session that your options and what documents and the amount of work that will go into it. Then you yourself will determine and say, you know what, is this something I want to pursue, or is this something I just want to close the chapter? But
so the point our guest is telling us tonight is that why a lot of you have said, very informative, but still there are many things you don't know. We don't have the time. She don't have time to be able to explain. And like it happens for those, I don't know, for those who are in the UK, perhaps you're already used to this issue of consultation hours, in which you go in, you ask all your, like you said, all your questions, and they'll be able to answer those, but just 1 hour. And when you say 1 hour, it is 1 hour, not 1 hour 5 seconds, because another person is waiting to start at that at the next hour. So it's just 1 hour. You indicate your intention, what you want to do, why you want to do it, and then they give you all the options available, and she'll be able to unpack all the various options that are available to you. Then you can now be able to make a decision to know if this is so. Can I get
and the strategy? Also, and the strategy as well.
Because like you rightly mentioned in this conversation today, strategy is the key word in this conversation today.
Yes.
That strategy is the key word of how to maneuver, how to get to your point B, how to do the map to where you want to go based on what is your desire, what do you hope to achieve at the end of the whole program. Thank you so much. And everyone, somebody is asking, can I get Lilia contacts, please? I would like to. If you did not register, if it means Leke Peculiar, send me a DM. Leke Peculiar, send me a DM. I will forward Lilia's contact details to you. Leke Peculiar, send me a DM. I will send Lilia's details to you. Now, by the virtue of tonight's session, and this is why we had to do this session, for each one of you to know that Lilia is credible and experienced, and she has been able to prove her mettle by answering seemingly hard questions, which, like she has told you, if anybody is in Nigeria, in Africa, and is telling you, I can help you recruit to Canada, and they are collecting money from you, they are only duping you, because under law, they are not permitted to do that. They are not registered with the Canadian Immigration Organization, and so you cannot believe those kind of persons. So if you need help, Lilia is ready to help you, but you must again first get the consultation fee, pay the consultation fee, have a 1 hour session with your consultant, onboarding all your heart, and they will be able to tell you how to go about the session. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Doctor, and thank you, everyone, too.
It's been a very informative, but we are going to do part 2 of it because there are questions. There are still questions that we still need to unpack. Now, a summary, as a lecturer that I am, what route are we supposed to do? She has talked about the express entry route, and under the express entry, she mentioned there's the federal skilled worker, the Canadian experience class, and also the trades. That's the 3rd option. And of course, the second one, the provincial nominee program, in which each province can nominate you. And the 3rd one is a school route, in which you go for a school. But before you jump, the school you are going to must be on the DIL, the list of certified,
DLI, yes.
or DLI, the school of certified schools. Because if you go and pay in one schools at the backyard, and they say sorry, they're not on the, that's your money gone down the drain. So that's the 3rd one. And after that one, she mentioned also the caregiver route, in which you can get a job as a caregiver, either in somebody's private property, in the family, taking care of their old parents or their children, or you get an employer in a care home to give you that license to be able to work in that category. And again, the 4th one is 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th one is the entrepreneur or the business route, in which you come as an investor into Canada and you'll be able to. And the 5th one, which she mentioned, and I know there are still more, but because of time, we are not able to take more today. She's told the 6th one actually is the agri-food pilot program. And there are other and more and more and more, like they say, where we come from, etc., 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 etc. So there are lots and lots of options for you. Thank you so much for your time. So if you've registered before, you'll get more information from us about how to go ahead with Ms. Lilia. So thank you so much for your time. I think it's just been very, very, very informative. Let's see. This. Just give me a minute before we end the session. I wanted to do a screen grab of some of the comments, because those who registered are not here, they've missed significantly. Even though this session, there's something like watching a live session than you
watching the record.
Watching the recording is not same. It's not same.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not the same.
You can't ask your question.
You cannot ask your question, then the thing will be burning you. But that's the cost of not being there when they asked you to attend. But the good thing is that for all those who registered, we will keep communicating with them. Because you can now see this. Why I said we need to get people registered, even though it's free, because then we can that conversation with these people who are not here. We can send an email to those who are not here, and forward all this to them. So thank you, everyone. That's all done for today. It's been a great session with a consultant all the way from Canada, Miss Lilia Iyanabo. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Doctor.
So everyone, look out for part 2 of this session. We'll let you know when we are having part 2 of this particular session. So bye now. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
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 So thank you everyone for being with us tonight. I hope that's been helpful to you. For those of you who waited to the end, thank you so much. Let's do this. Follow me for more information. If you're not following me, if you're not following Lilia, Andrew is Resettle in Canada. Then follow me and you'll be able to get more information. And then when we come with part 2 of this session, you will be able to know when part 2 is coming on. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now. Bye.
Composure 100%. Steez 100%. Composure 100%. See, show me your steez. Show me your composure.
A lot of comments, a lot of things were done on that group. I was the one that created the group because just as you said.
Sorry, we didn't create the group. We added you to the group.
Okay, thank you so much for it. Thank you for reminding me.
The way forward that we have agreed.
Madam Grace, wait. No, I'm not arguing with him. I just want him to understand that I also am I started with co-investing, number one. The very land that he's talking about, this land, they are 5 in number. They bought the heavens, not the ground.
Hello.